right, CC, how hard is it for a guy who has started and most likely, for the most part, been the star of each team he's been on, I'm sure, his whole football life, to now sit and watch someone else take the reins on a team?
I think it's because it's foreign to him. It can be difficult, but he's not ready to play in the NFL game. I mean, he realizes how different pro football is than him being at the University of Oklahoma. So I think that we always get into this situation, especially with quarterbacks and stuff who have to sit compared to other players. I would much rather be more ready to play than thrown out there. We've seen so many guys, what we call, Nick, get their career knocked out of them early. Now, they have a good supporting cast there in Cleveland. I think Hugh and them are doing the right things. Todd Haley is an exceptional coach. And this is what coaches do. We just don't have hard knocks. So this is not anything new that I'm seeing with Hugh, that what he's telling the player. They got a plan for almost every player. And they definitely have a plan for all of their top draft picks or free agents that they've signed. They sit them down and tell them, these are our expectations for you. This is your role on this team. When you start the season, the coaches inform you of what your role is on the season. So this is a little bit of insight of what happens to normal players. I expect him to adjust just like other players have adjusted. Most of us were stars in college, and we come into the NFL, we are role players. So we all adjust to it, and I expect him. It is not that difficult. It's not as difficult as we make it, because everyone's doing it every year.
And if people didn't watch Hard Knocks last night, what I thought was interesting is before that interaction, it was he and Drew Stanton in the room. And Hugh says, I wanted to bring you both in here to let you guys know, Baker, you're going to be the backup. So the announcement was not who's going to be the starter. That wasn't even, they felt that was, they had stayed on message. It was clearly Tyrod. The question was, theoretically, who's going to be the backup and who might not dress on game day as the third-string quarterback between Stanton and Baker Mayfield. And then they had that longer interaction. Stanton handled that thing like a pro, and he almost assuredly knew the direction that was going. I have a couple questions for you, though, C. When Hugh Jackson says, quote, I'm going to keep creating situations for you to do more, some people interpreted that like, is he going to have a Lamar Jackson-style package, or is Hugh talking about at practice? Like, when Hugh, do you expect that we would see Baker in games that he didn't start, or is that just do more in practice, expand more, learn more outside of Sundays?
I think the creating situation starts on the practice field. And Baker has mastered or has done well in that. You can see Hugh telling him that. I don't think there is a game situation that he's talking about. This is how you develop players. They have to develop in practice. You can have different blitz looks. You can go red zone. You can allow him to take over the first team with a 2-minute drill, make him more responsible that way. Also, little assignments that you give him on game day. As far as, I want you to watch the front. I want you to watch the coverage. I want you to come up with suggestions. Our first 20 plays that we're calling, we'd like you to come up with 5 to 8 of those plays. Of these plays, which ones of these are your favorites? So there's a whole list of things in grooming a guy to get him more game ready that you can do without putting him in the game.
There are certain situations where you want a guy to learn by playing, like Sam Darnold. Get in there, and you're going to play, and you're going to figure out how to do the job. And he's more, obviously, ready to play in the NFL. And then, obviously, there are certain situations where you're better served by sitting back and watching. I would imagine that for Baker, you don't think he's quite ready to play yet. How much can he realistically learn and take in and be a better quarterback just from watching Tyrod Taylor do it?
No, Sam Darnold's not ready to play yet, but he's been forced into the situation. So when I said Baker Mayfield's not ready, he's not more ready than Tyrod Taylor to play, okay. All right? And just because Darnold is starting, he's not more ready than Baker is.
If those two players were flipped draft-wise, I think it would be I'm almost certain it'd be the opposite situation. If Darnold was drafted 1 overall, he would be backing up Tyrod. And if Baker was drafted 3 to the Jets, he'd be the starting quarterback.
And I could actually argue that Baker is more ready because we've seen him in the preseason. He's taken the riskier approach. They've thrown the ball down the field more. But from a veteran standpoint, Tyrod Taylor is ready to run the full offense. This team gels behind Tyrod Taylor. So when we talk about guys not being ready, it's not that they're not ready to play. But a veteran is far more equipped to win a game. All right? Tyrod is a starter. Josh McCown is a backup. So it's where they are compared to which this guy's more ready than the other guy. Let me tell you who's not ready. Josh Allen is not ready to play. Lamar Jackson, he's not ready to play.
And the Josh Allen example is the best one because Josh Allen is not starting, even though the guy in front of him is a backup.
Peterman, yeah.
We hope he's a backup.
Right. And so with Baker's not starting, you have a guy who led his team to the playoffs last year as a starting quarterback in Tyrod Taylor. Darnold is starting over a career backup in Josh McCown. Josh Rosen is backing up Sam Bradford, who got $20 million career starter. Josh Allen is sitting behind a guy who's second or third string most of his career, and that speaks to where his development is compared to some of these other guys.
Yeah, Nate Peterman. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.